And I, for one, I just make it clear that I believe the ecological health of the whole park should actually take priority in certain cases over public safety. Fire is a natural process, and we've tried to resist fire forever in Stanley Park, but it is part of a natural process, and it's part of the fact that we're not having fires is part of causing the risk to Stanley Park in many ways. So I encourage you to emphasize the ecological health of the whole system rather than taking out individual trees that may have died or may pose a risk. So we are dealing with a forest fire risk. You've addressed that directly, and you think it's overstated. And I've read a lot of the reports submitted, and I could start to see that maybe it is overstated at some level. But there's another risk with these standing dead trees, which is the public safety risk. And do you care to make any comment on that? You just wanted to bring to our attention that the fire risk is overstated.
Correct.
Did you want to make any comment about the public safety risk for trees that might fall on a family or a car? I have read the De La Sala report in detail as it was submitted, and it was very interesting and very focused on fire risk and saying how leaving the trees standing would be a better way to protect against fire risk. The report at no point, though, talks about public safety risk, the risk that trees might fall and seriously injure someone. I think people in this province are traumatized by industrial logging. Over 80% of our forests are harvested in this province, and I'm a former tree planter. I spent 3 seasons up in Prince George and points north of there all the way up to the Yukon, points west of there all the way to Haida Gwaii. And I planted 50,000 seedlings a year up there for 3 seasons. And I was part of a crew that planted 10 million trees a year. And but traveling that land, realizing now in retrospect that I was just part of an industrial process that was increasing the allowable harvest up there, thinking that I was doing good, but really just, enhancing the industrial motives of it all. It's terrifying. And here we are. People are rightly triggered when they see something happening in Stanley Park that reminds them of that. And I get that, and I get the anger. But this risk of the hemlock looper moth, it's been known for a long time. It's been known since the 2009 Stanley Park Forest Management Report. It was carefully detailed in that report. It said it's very likely to happen. And sure enough, there was an overabundance of hemlock that was coming up, was well seen. And sure enough, the risk landed on us just before our term started, and we've lost 160,000 trees. Those trees, the hemlock in the park, were doomed. They were doomed from day one because we didn't properly manage them. We didn't go out and thin those trees out as they were little saplings. We should actively think about doing that going forward. I think we'll need to go back into Stanley Park in 5 or 10 years and take out the new hemlock that are shooting forward, because they're going to come back again and they're going to be right back in the same risk. Now, getting to the motion. Many speakers in the last 2 nights said that tree removals actually enhance the forest fire risk at Stanley Park. And I thank people for these comments. I listened with an open mind, and I actually learned a lot. And it raised a lot of questions to me about whether tree removals really do reduce the potential forest fire. I think and what I've learned, reading Fire Weather by Valen, the local author, John Valen, it's incredibly risky and unpredictable what will happen to fire. You don't know what the outcomes are going to be. So I'm up in the air about the fire risk, whether we're actually reducing it there. But the other major risk, and the risk that that is really unequivocal, is public safety. It's known that half of these dead trees are going to fall in the next 3 to 4 years. And the theory that they're going to fall straight down is ludicrous, okay? I just give zero credibility to the theory that they're just going to just pop over and fall straight down. So I just dismiss that opinion out of hand. And if we leave these trees standing, we're going to have to close substantial areas of the park for 3 to 10 years while these trees make their own sweet biological time coming down. And we could do that. And some speakers advocated we should close the sections of the park for multiple years. But I just can't get behind that. It's going to do, listening to the Stanley Park Ecological Society, it's just, they bring thousands of kids and hundreds of volunteers in to do invasives work. They cannot do their work with these trees standing, towering over them, threatening them every time a slight wind blows. Now, look, coming to the motion, look, I was elected here to represent the residents of Vancouver, 170,000 of them that put us here. And I'm not here to seek the most popular decision or to win friends in favor, but I'm here to make the right decision for the park board at the right time. And, I think this is it. I'm anxious for the replanting of the climate-adapted species that's going underway. I think the tree selection of the cedar, the Douglas fir, the red alder, the Pacific yew, and other species, this is a turning point in the history of Stanley Park, and I think we need to see it as an opportunity. 25 years from now, when I'm dead and gone, these new trees will be pushing up towards the upper canopy. And 100 years from now, when we're all dead and gone, these new trees will finally reach the canopy, and they'll be there to provide shade and shelter for another 500 years. Just have one more follow-up question. So, we're aware that some residents of our city are having concerns that their voices are not being heard around this issue about the tree removals. And can you confirm for us, this table, we don't debate public safety issues around this table, is that correct?
Did you want?
Yes, that is correct.
And I, for one, I just make it clear that I believe the ecological health of the whole park should actually take priority in certain cases over public safety.